Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at how content strategy is changing,
Yeah,
especially for those of you out there in the plant-based, ethical, and eco-friendly world.
definitely.
We are going to be looking at some really interesting observations and predictions from Brennan,
Yes.
a leading creative consultant and brand strategist in this space.
Huge.
He's helped a ton of brands really make a splash. And,
For sure.
one of the biggest takeaways is that
Yeah.
hashtags are dead. So
Mm.
stick around to find out what's replacing them and how you can really seriously up your content game.
It's true. The way we think about hashtags needs like a major overhaul. You might have seen that video
Yeah,
where the CEO of Instagram basically said they're useless now.
that was pretty wild. I mean, hashtags have been like a staple for so long.
Right.
What happened?
So Instagram hasn't actually removed hashtags,
Good.
but their function is basically being overshadowed by a much bigger player,
Okay.
AI. Artificial intelligence is now calling the shots when it comes to content discovery.
So Instagram is using AI to analyze everything we post. That's a little intimidating.
It can seem that way, but think of it this way. The AI is looking for clues to connect your content with the right people.
Okay.
It's using voice recognition, video recognition, and text recognition to analyze everything you put out there.
Wow.
It's listening to your audio, seeing your visuals, and reading any text you include.
So it's not just about slapping a few keywords in the caption anymore.
No.
We really have to be intentional about every element.
Mm.
It's like how carefully Brennan crafts each detail for his clients' campaigns.
You got it. Every choice you make, from the words you use to the background in your video, is sending signals to the algorithm.
Right.
The AI then uses those signals to figure out who your content is for and where it should appear on people's feeds.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does the AI actually learn to connect the dots between, say, a video about sustainable living
Right.
and someone who's passionate about eco-friendly products?
That's where pattern recognition comes in. Basically, the AI is constantly learning and identifying patterns. For example, let's say you're a plant-based food brand.
Yep.
And you notice that videos featuring a specific cookbook author always perform really well with your audience.
Because that author is already known and trusted within the plant-based community.
Exactly.
So the AI sees that connection and thinks, okay, people who like this author might also like this brand.
Exactly. It's not just about people either. Even objects in the background can create those patterns. Imagine a tech review channel
Okay.
that always has a certain brand of headphones on their desk. The AI picks up on that and might start showing their videos to people who frequently engage with content about that headphone brand.
So it's all about understanding these subtle cues and patterns that the AI is looking for.
Right.
We're not just creating content. We're basically speaking a new language,
Hmm?
the language of the algorithm. It's almost like Brennan's approach to branding, where he's always looking for those key elements that will resonate with a specific audience.
It's a great analogy. And speaking of Brennan, this is where his concept of the data-driven content stack comes in.
Okay.
Many creators get so focused on getting their content recognized that they miss this third crucial layer.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is this data-driven content stack, and how does it go beyond just getting our content noticed?
Think about it this way. Most of us create content in a very one-off way.
Yeah.
We post something, move on, and hope for the best.
Right.
But what if we started thinking about our content more like a chain where each piece builds on the previous one and reinforces our core message?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I've seen how effective this is in Brennan's work. He's all about creating cohesive narratives that unfold over time rather than just random bursts of content.
Exactly, and that consistency is key to training the algorithm. When you consistently create content on specific topics using consistent keywords and visual cues, you're basically teaching the AI about your niche and who your target audience is. You're creating a clear path for the algorithm to follow.
So it's not just about creating great content. It's about strategically organizing and sequencing that content to create a powerful signal for the AI.
Yes.
And that's where the data-driven part comes in.
It's not enough to just create these content chains. We also need to be paying close attention to the data and using it to optimize our strategy. Exactly. It's about analyzing how people are engaging with your content and then using that information to make your next piece even better. Let's say you notice that a particular video is getting way more saves than usual.
Oh, okay.
That tells you people found it valuable and want to refer back to it later.
That makes sense. It's like bookmarking a really good recipe or a helpful DIY tutorial.
Right, so in your next video on a similar topic, you might even encourage viewers to save it.
Gotcha.
You're basically giving the algorithm a little nudge. Hey, this type of content is resonating. Show it to more people who might want to save it too.
So we're not just creating content and throwing it out into the void. We're using data to understand what's working, what's not, and how to fine-tune our approach.
Hmm.
It's kind of like how Brennan uses data to track the performance of his clients' campaigns and make adjustments along the way.
Absolutely. This data-driven approach is all about being responsive and constantly refining your strategy based on what the numbers are telling you.
It's almost like we're having a conversation with the AI, providing it with information and then listening to its feedback. It's a little less intimidating when you think about it that way.
It really is a collaborative process. You're working with the AI to make sure your content reaches its full potential. And speaking of reaching the right audience, remember how we talked about pattern recognition earlier?
Yeah.
There's a really interesting trend that's been popping up lately, reaction
Oh,
videos.
yeah, I've been seeing those everywhere.
Yeah.
People reacting to everything from music videos to cooking tutorials.
Yeah.
But how does that tie into AI and content strategy?
Well, the AI is smart enough to recognize the content being reacted to in those videos.
Oh,
So it can automatically connect your reaction video to the audience that's already engaged with the original content.
so if I create a reaction video to a documentary about sustainable fashion, the AI is more likely to show it to people who are already interested in that topic.
Exactly. It's a really effective way to tap into a pre-existing audience that's already shown an interest in the subject matter. It's like a shortcut to getting your content in front of the right eyeballs.
That's pretty clever, but I imagine there's a right way and a wrong way to do reaction videos, right?
For sure, you don't want to just sit there and summarize what everyone already saw in the original video. You have to add value.
Right.
Offer your unique perspective, share your personal insights, or maybe even challenge some of the points made in the original content.
Don't just react.
Reflect.
Exactly. The goal is to spark a conversation,
Yeah.
encourage people to think critically, and maybe even inspire them to take action.
This is all starting to click for me now. We're not just creating content for the AI, we're creating content for real people, using the AI as a tool to help us connect with them more effectively. It's kind of like how Brennan always emphasizes the importance of authenticity and human connection, even in the digital space. It's all about finding that balance between the human and the technological. The AI can be a powerful ally in amplifying your message, but it's your creativity, your passion, and your understanding of your audience that will truly make your content stand out.
So for someone who's just starting to wrap their head around all of this, what are the most important takeaways? What are the first steps they can take to optimize their content strategy for this new AI-driven world?
The first step is always understanding your audience. Who are you trying to reach? What are their values, their interests, their pain points?
That's where Brennan's expertise really shines. He's a master at diving deep into audience psychology and figuring out what makes people tick.
Once you have a clear picture of your audience, you can start thinking about how to use keywords, visuals, and even the structure of your content to send the right signals to the AI. Remember, it's all about patterns and connections.
So it's not about abandoning our creativity or our authenticity. It's about learning to express those things in a way that the AI can understand and appreciate.
Exactly. It's like learning a new language, the language of the algorithm.
It's fascinating to think about how much the content landscape has changed in recent years. And it seems like things are only going to get more complex and more interesting as AI continues to evolve.
There's no doubt about it. But with a little bit of understanding and a willingness to adapt, we can definitely harness the power of AI to create content that's both impactful and engaging.
This has been incredibly insightful. I feel like I have a whole new toolbox of strategies to experiment with.
It is fascinating, isn't it? And I think it's especially exciting for brands in the plant-based, ethical, and eco-conscious space
Yeah.
because AI has the potential to help us connect with those people who are actively looking for sustainable solutions.
It's like we can use this technology to cut through all the noise and reach those people who are genuinely aligned with our values.
Absolutely. Think about it. There are so many people out there who are passionate about making ethical choices,
Right.
but they might not know where to find the brands and products that fit their lifestyle.
Mhm.
AI can help bridge that gap.
I see what you mean. It's like using AI to build a bridge between conscious consumers and conscious brands. That's pretty powerful.
It is, but we have to remember that it's still a tool. And like any tool,
Yeah,
it can be used in different ways. It's up to us to use it ethically and responsibly.
that's a good point. We don't want to get so caught up in the technical side of things that we forget the human element.
Exactly. Ultimately, it's about connecting with real people, building relationships, and creating a sense of community.
I think that's something Brennan really emphasizes in his work. He's all about using strategy and creativity to foster genuine human connection.
He is, and that's what makes his approach so effective.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people buy from people they trust and brands they feel connected to.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a much better understanding of how AI is shaping the future of content strategy.
I'm glad to hear that it's a rapidly evolving field, but the core principles remain the same. Understand your audience, create valuable content, and use technology to amplify your message.
And for those of us who are passionate about building brands that make a positive impact, this is an incredibly exciting time.
It really is. We have the opportunity to use these tools to reach more people, spread our message further, and create a more sustainable and ethical future.
Well said. It's been a pleasure diving into this topic with you.
Likewise.
And for our listeners, we'll leave you with this as you start experimenting with these new AI-powered content strategies. Remember to keep the human element at the heart of everything you do. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.